It wasn't until a murderer came after me for revenge that I realized just how much I looked like Prince Regent's first crush. That was why the Prime Minister took in an orphan like me. That was why the Prince Regent, Grayson Watson, ended up marrying a girl who couldn't speak, like me. They needed me to draw out the culprit who hurt the minister's daughter and get the antidote to save her. I was in a coma for 7 days and nights. When I finally woke up, every inch of me hurt, and no one was there for me. Just one wall away, my foster parents and my husband were celebrating Valeria Webb's recovery. 5 years, Valeria. You're finally awake. Grayson's voice came through the wall. Sweetheart, we finally avenged you. From now on, we'll shower you with love. You'll never have to suffer again, my foster parents promised. No one even thought of me. Only the maid brought me medicine, her eyes brimming with sympathy. I didn't cry or throw a tantrum. Instead, I quietly removed the lucky bracelet, something Grayson had prayed with heart to obtain for me, and gestured calmly to Miranda. Miranda, would you mind bringing me the letter of separation? I signed. Miranda's eyes were red as she handed me the letter. Lady Priscilla, here's the letter of separation. I took it, my face pale. Grayson had written this letter of separation back when we got married. He was so fixated on me then. My heart wavered, but I knew my background was tragic and I couldn't even speak. Even after being adopted by the Prime Minister's family, I still felt I could never measure up to him. Besides, Grayson was the Prince Regent, the man everyone looked up to, holding all the power in the kingdom. If he ever lost interest in me, heartbreak would be all I had left. I couldn't take that gamble, so he gave me the letter himself. Take this. If I ever fall out of love with you, you can walk away whenever you want. And if we do part ways, half of everything I own will be yours. You'll never have to worry about a thing for the rest of your life, he promised. His promise felt so genuine that I couldn't help but believe him. So I married him, my heart full of hope. After everything I'd been through, I finally understood why he married me in the first place. The real reason was that he needed me close so he could use me to lure out the killer and get the antidote to save the woman he truly loved. I gave a bitter chuckle and signed the letter of separation. Miranda couldn't hold back her tears anymore. How could this be? All these years, Prince Grayson did everything for you. When you were sick, he stayed by your side. When you couldn't eat, he learned to cook just for you. He treated you so well. How could you have only been a stand-in for someone else? Miranda choked out. You were even carrying his child. How could Prince Grayson use you as bait and let you end up like this? She added, voice trembling. My heart suddenly lurched, and for the first time, a ripple of emotion broke through my pale expression. I wrote shakily, Child? Miranda's eyes looked even more hopeless than mine. Yes, the doctor said you were 3 months pregnant. But after what that monster did to you, days and nights of torture, leaving all those wounds, it's a miracle you survived it all. There was no way to save the baby. And the doctor said you could never have children again, Miranda whispered, tears streaming down her face. Before my mind could even process it, heart-wrenching pain tore through me. Tears rolled down my cheeks as I let out a desolate, broken laugh. After being married for so many years, I finally had a child, but it was all gone, and there wouldn't ever be another. For some reason, I suddenly recalled the words that the murderer hissed at me a few days ago, his grip tight around my throat. Damn, Valeria and Grayson were a perfect pair. Valeria schemed with my feelings, and Grayson schemed with yours, he snarled. They both knew I hated Valeria to the bone, and you're mute. You couldn't even explain yourself. If I hadn't figured out you weren't her, your head would have rolled already, you get that? He spat. They used your face to draw me out just to trap me and force me to cough up Valeria's antidote. Real slick. Real cunning, he sneered. By then, I'd already been tortured for 3 days. There were at least 66 cuts all over my body. The wounds weren't deep, but blood kept seeping out, drop by drop. The pain was so bad that death almost seemed like mercy. He finally let go of my neck. Grayson's got traps set everywhere. I'm not getting out of here. Don't hold it against me for mixing you up with her. I'm done messing with you, he said. But hey, they've kept you around for years, and Grayson even married you. I can see if they actually give a damn about you. If they pick you, maybe you'll get to live, he added. He had someone send for Grayson, demanding that Grayson come and see him in person. When I was hanging by a thread, my husband and foster parents burst in. The murderer held his knife to my chest, the antidote placed on the other side. They had to choose, my life or the antidote. My foster parents, without a second thought, lunged straight for the antidote. How could her life ever compare to Valeria's? My foster father declared. Grayson just shrugged. She's nothing but a pawn. If you want her dead, take her. But if you let her live, maybe you'll die a little easier. I watched them all go for the antidote, my already lifeless gaze shattering completely. It felt like my heart was being crushed underfoot, the agony beyond words. In the end, I finally succumbed to the pain and lost consciousness. When I finally woke up again, 7 days had slipped by. And just like before, not a single soul bothered with me. I pushed down the ache in my chest and handed the letter of separation to Miranda. I gestured, Thanks for sticking with me all this time in Watson's estate. Please give this letter to Grayson for me. And could you burn everything I ever owned here? Don't leave a single trace behind. Miranda was sobbing uncontrollably. Lady Priscilla, you're all alone in this world, and with all these wounds, where could you possibly go? My parents may be buried in the earth, but wherever they rest, that's where I belong. That's my home, I gestured, accidentally tugging at the knife wound on my shoulder. A sharp pain stung me, but not a single tear escaped. This isn't my home. I shouldn't stay here, and I don't want to. I was firm. Miranda couldn't hold back her tears anymore. She wiped her eyes and hurried off to find a carriage for me. With wounds all over my body, I forced myself out of bed, but before I could even reach the door, my strength failed, and I crumpled to the floor. Suddenly, a strong arm wrapped around my waist. Grayson caught me just in time. Grayson's gaze was as gentle as ever, but his voice was tight with concern. Priscilla, you've been out cold for 7 days. Why didn't you let anyone tell me you'd woken up? Are you feeling all right? Does anything hurt? His grip pressed painfully against my injuries, and I went even paler as I tried to push him away. His gaze grew somber, his lips pressed into a thin line. He explained, "Are you angry with me? I know I used you, and I owe you an apology. Whatever I said to that murderer, don't take it to heart. I only said the opposite on purpose to keep you safe. Everything I did was to protect you. Look, you're safe and sound, aren't you? That's proof enough. I'll do my best to make it up to you. Can you please not be mad at me?" I saw sincerity in Grayson's eyes, and he looked a little flustered. It turned out he had no clue how serious my injuries were. However, even if he found out, it changed nothing. I forced myself to stand up straight and made a sign with my hands. "Grayson, you've always treated me kindly. Consider this my way of paying you back. You don't owe me anything. Now that the person you wanted to save is awake, it's time for me to leave." Grayson instinctively tightened his grip on my hand, his face darkening a little. He said again, "So you really are angry with me? Valeria saved my life 5 years ago, and she ended up like the Walking Dead just to protect me. I have to save her. Using you was wrong, but I swear it won't ever happen again. Besides, you're my wife, the one I married with all the fanfare. We're husband and wife. Watson's estate is your home. If you left, where would you go? Where else could you possibly belong?" I couldn't figure it out. He'd already gotten everything he wanted from me, so why was he still looking at me with that soft, affectionate gaze? Was he just afraid I'd start talking and damaging his good name? "You have feelings for Lady Valeria, don't you? If I don't leave, are you really going to make her your mistress?" I signed. Grayson frowned. "I did promise Valeria I'd marry her. She spent 5 years in a coma because of me. Now she's so weak and no one else would take her in but me. But she's got her pride, and asking her to be a mistress would crush her spirit. I don't want to hurt you either. Just give me a little time. I swear I'll figure out a way that won't hurt either of you." Just as I was about to speak, I suddenly heard someone crying nearby. The voice sounded, "Grayson, so while I was unconscious for 5 years, you already married someone else? How could you do this to me?" Grayson immediately panicked. "Valeria!" Grayson blurted out. I turned toward the sound and saw a girl standing beneath the peach tree, tears streaming down her face. She looked strikingly similar to me, almost like my twin. It was Valeria, shooting him a look full of hurt and accusation. She cried, "I loved you so much. I nearly died saving you and I barely survived, only to spend 5 years in a coma because of it. And you married someone else? So what am I supposed to be to you now? If you love her, why did you even bother saving me? Did you wake me up so I could be your mistress? Is that what you want, to see me die inside all over again?" She ran off, sobbing. "Valeria, wait!" Almost at the same time, Grayson let go of my hand and hurried after her. "Priscilla, wait for me." Even standing was a struggle for me, and when he let go, I hit the ground hard. The pain crashed over me in waves, cold sweat soaking my skin. Watching him chase after the woman he truly loved without a second thought, I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. For the first time, I realized how a heart could be torn apart again and again. I had 66 wounds on my body, but none of them compared to the pain in my heart. I didn't hesitate. Bracing myself against the pain, I slowly made my way toward the gate. But when I turned the corner, I saw Valeria grabbing onto Grayson's sleeve, crying her eyes out. She started beating on his chest, her blows soft and desperate. She snapped, "Even if you married that dumb Priscilla just to use her as bait to save me, you still shouldn't have actually touched her. Now what am I supposed to do?" Grayson's lips quivered, but he couldn't get a word out. The man who always seemed so powerful lost all his usual swagger in front of the woman he loved. In the end, he just reached out and wiped away Valeria's tears, helpless. I bit my pale lips, holding back the pain. Only then did I realize why Grayson kept his distance from me at first. It turned out he was staying true to his word for her sake. But later, when he was drunk, he gazed at me, lost in thought, then suddenly leaned in and kissed me. I missed you so much." It was the first time he'd ever kissed me, and his kiss was wild and burning, nothing like I'd ever felt before. I just let him have his way with me, completely stunned. Thinking back, the name he whispered that night wasn't mine, but it was Valeria's. After that night, I was nothing more than Valeria's replacement in his eyes. That was why he stopped holding back and didn't hesitate to touch me anymore. Valeria nestled against Grayson's chest, her eyes shimmering with tears. "Grayson, marry me," she said in a trembling voice. She added softly, "She's just a mute and comes from nothing. How could she ever be fit to be your wife? But since she looked after you for 5 years and even got the cure for me, I guess I can let her be a concubine." I thought Grayson would agree right away to please her, but he just kept frowning, not saying anything.